Hello, and welcome to Mustaches on Mustafar.
Mm-hmm.
We are so excited to have you here. A lot of you guys have been asking for this for quite a while, and we're finally doing it. We both get to show off our furry lips. So I'm
Yes,
glad you
sir.
guys are here. And let's give some shout outs real quick before we get into talking about whatever. Oh man, all the way at the top, we got Lord Crit, my 500th subscriber.
Oh, sweet.
I'm not going to give a sip for all of you guys. I'm sorry. You know
Gotta
what?
do a big gulp.
I have to. You know what? Lord Crit. We got Strike. Here's a sip for you. Average, here's a sip for you. Nerdporial Lifeform, here's a sip for you. Matt Cave, here's a sip for you. Darth Arlena, here's a sip for you. Isaac Baldwin, you are a bold one. Here's a sip for you. Black Dragon, here's a sip for you. Star Wars Guys, Master Paul, here's a sip for you. Solonic, here's a sip for you. I already got Strike. Dat Boy Steve, here's a sip for you. Let's see. Catman, here's a sip for you. Star Wars Ladaggy, here's a sip for you. I know it's Ladage, but it was a joke from last night's stream. All right, I think we're all caught up.
And it's like, we'll both be back after we use the restroom. After
Yeah.
how many people are here? That's awesome.
Oh, that's nothing compared to my my birthday live stream I did a little while ago.
Oh yeah.
I had a giant thing of really strong coffee, and I was just refilling it. I probably had like 5 or 6 cups. My coffee hangover the next morning was not feeling good. That was not fun. Don't drown yourself. I'll try not to. But today is not on Corbon like it usually is. We are on Mustafar, in fact, today, talking about our mustaches and Star Wars in general. Being honest with you guys, we didn't really have a super structured plan as to what we were going to talk about, but we are here. So I guess to start it off, keeping it on mustaches, how long have you had your mustache like that? And how long does it take you? How long did it take you to grow? I guess that's the question everyone asks.
Okay, cool. So I had a mustache like this for about 2 years. And then while my wife was pregnant, we have a 1-year-old son. While she was pregnant, and this is when everybody was, at least in our neck of the woods, everybody was at home and stuff, it was just an impulse. I'm like, I'm just going to shave it. Like, I'm just going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Shaved it. And then actually getting plugged in Hangar Bay and talking. I think I threw a picture of it up back maybe May or June. And there was like 2 guys, I think, maybe 3 that were like, that's pretty cool. And I'm like, you know what? For the fans, I'll grow it back. Totally just used it as an excuse.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, it takes a couple months to get like this. I mean, this is like the best part of my facial hair. This just kind of stays like this. So it's just kind of like good Lord intended me to have a mustache. So it's like, that's how I'm going to keep it.
Is it in fact the community stash?
Sure. If that's what you guys want to call it.
X-Wing, here is a sip for you.
I'll try and keep up with you.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be coffee because we are not on Corbon today. Remember when that guy used to be friends and stream with me? I know, the guy with 1.5 thousand subs now.
Yep. My work is my work is crazy, but hey, Mr. X-Wing, we do, this was going to sound really weird. I was going to say we do special late night stuff, but that sounds really weird. We film some stuff collectively, for our channels and Echo Base. We're going to have some cool stuff coming out. Nice. I'm super excited for.
That is awesome. Echo Base TV is so fun.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's a really good idea that Coach had to show off our channels, because a lot of us don't have a huge following yet. And just the fact that we get to kind of make a TV broadcast all together as the community and see what other people are making and come together and celebrate that. And just, I'm always like, go subscribe to this channel, channel and stuff. And it's really fun supporting each other. And this is something I talked with X-Wing when he was on my show a long time ago, is just, this is just such a cool community. And there's nothing really, at least to my knowledge, like this on YouTube, just a community of channels that support each other, pop on each other's streams, and just hang out. And it's a whole lot of fun. Jay Watch, here is a sip for you. Thank you for stopping by. Let's see. Matt Cave says, keep shaving the sides and chin on a regular basis. Let it grow some each month. And I promise you, Master Jedi, the beard will grow. I certainly hope so.
Dude, if I could have a full beard, I would be looking like a mountain man. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. I did the yeared before, where you grow it for, you don't shave for an entire year. I won't say I was proud of it, but I'm glad I did it just once. It got pretty long, but it's, I don't grow enough on the sides to make it worth keeping.
Yeah.
See, Anthony, YouTube fan, here's a sip for you.
And then I want to reciprocate the question back. Once you have a second, the same thing.
As far as how long have I had the mustache?
Yes, I should have clarified. I kind of just threw it back. I'm like,
so the mustache is actually really recent for me. Since I probably about the time I started making Star Wars content, which was, I don't know, 3 months ago. Not that long. Curling it like this, especially, this is all new for me. But I enjoy it. And I'm actually envious of your mustache, because yours is a lot more full than mine. But I, rock what you got, and this is what I got. So I'm trying.
I see. The thing is, I tried curling a little bit, and I was the creepiest looking dude in all of history. Like, I was like, I'm scaring myself, so I'm not curling it. And so I just went with like the old man stash. But here's something that's messed up. There was somebody at our church who like ran out after, and we were talking about something coming up, and he was like, we were talking, and then the person realized, like, oh, I thought, to my wife, was like, oh, I thought you were in high school. And we're like, how old do you think I was? It's like, oh, like mid-30s, stuff like this. I'm like, and that wasn't a problem to you? You thought like this, like, it makes me look older than I am. But he's like, anyway, that was like, my wife and I have had that quite a bit, where it's like people think she's in high school and they think I'm like nearing 40, but no one has a problem with it. I'm like, it's a little problematic.
See, that's why I'm a little hesitant to shave off the beard completely and my soul patch and just have the mustache, because it could look cool. I don't exactly know what it'll look like, but at the same time, I don't want people to think that I'm 40 or 16 or whatever people think, and look like a creeper. I don't know if I want to commit to just the mustache yet.
Dude, it was really, I'm glad I can, as strange as this is, and I'm glad people are enjoying watching a mustache conversation so far. There's a whole world of, she is older.
Oh, Mrs. Two Star Wars Nerds.
She is older. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. I was gonna say I like older women, but she's like 10 months older.
I'm just gonna say right now, while we're talking about Mrs. Star Wars Nerd, you guys have such an awesome channel.
Thank you.
And I really think, I said this to you before, you guys are so wholesome, and I think that's what people gravitate towards. Just especially with like the Lego videos, or the Lego Star Wars videos of you guys playing and stuff. You guys are just being you, and you're a really wholesome couple. And I know a little bit about you, off of YouTube and stuff. And I think that really shines through on your channel. And I think, like I said, people really gravitate towards that, because that kind of wholesome content and content creators is something that is kind of lacking on YouTube as a whole. And it's really refreshing. So you guys have an awesome relationship, at least what we can tell on YouTube. You guys are doing a great job with that. And I'm going to get my wife on here more often in the future. We got a video coming out next week of a road trip we did. That'll be fun. We did some Star Wars trivia. But just wanted to say that you guys have a really good channel going, and I'm really happy for you guys on hitting your 1.5 thousand subscribers. That's incredible.
Dude, it's weird.
Yeah, I bet.
And I will say, I really do appreciate, the compliment there. And it, it's, I would say out of the two of us, it's probably no surprise the missus is way more wholesome than I am. She like I try to catch up with her in terms of like being wholesome. But and I don't know, there's a place for everything. There's some channels that we love that are massive, like huge channels. And we would watch them and it didn't really align with like the way we spoke, in particular extreme profanity. Like most profanity doesn't bother me, but where it's like every other word, right?
Yeah.
And it's like I still enjoyed content, but then when we were having a son, like we're finding he learns words so quick, and I was like, I'm so
They're
worried.
Sponges.
Yeah, and so I'm like,
they're sponges,
dude. It's spooky, really.
And you'll start to see as he gets older, because my daughter is 2 in a couple months, and she just talks like a normal person, just with full sentences and stuff. But the way she talks is exactly the way I talk, is exactly the way my wife talks, and they're sponges. She will say things the exact same way that we say them. So we really have to be careful. Everyone always says you have to be careful what you say around your kids, but just the way, you know, if my wife's trying to get my attention and I'll be on my phone or something, I'll be like, oh yeah, hold on a second. And then I'll like tell my daughter like, hey, can you come clean this up? And she'll, just a moment, Daddy. So you really have to be careful. But I know what you're talking about. You become more aware of things that other people say, even if your kid's not around you. And I don't like cussing or bad language. I don't personally. As a Christian, it's wrong. But just as a person, I don't cuss. It's just not part of my DNA. Not a natural thing for me. But like you were saying, the other channels might have good content, but when it's not uplifting in the way that they're speaking, it's hard to really follow along with what they're saying.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, it's just so crazy thinking about that. Like you talked about like your daughter and the way she interacts. So we were really, so part of like everything. Here we go, another one. Man, this is awesome.
Here's a sip for you, Justin Scott. Thank you for stopping by.
Look at this. This was supposed to be for the whole stream. You guys are taking up. No, this is awesome. But the way our work is, we are able to like kind of rearrange things so we can be with our son a lot more, which is really cool. But there's some days, like Wednesdays for us, are like it literally like all day, right? So anyways, he's with his grandma, his Mimi and stuff, and we noticed one day he was doing this thing where he was like wagging his finger. I'm like, where did he learn that, right?
Yeah.
And so then we started saying like no, and he gets it. He's like connecting it, right? And then we found out it's something that they do at grandma's to help. And I'm like, yeah, it's totally fine, right? So then I'm at the store with him and he's trying to stand up and all of this, and like told him no, right? And he looks dead right back at me in the eyes and like wags his finger back. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Mr. Green Lantern.
Welcome to the stream. Yes, I know exactly what you're like. And on the flip side of that, they can pick up some really awesome things.
Yeah,
that you say. The other day I went, I love taking my daughter to the store with me, and I'll ask her like, you want to sit in the cart or do you want to walk? She's like, no, I'll walk. I'll stay close to you. But on the way home from the store, I was telling her, you know, I'm so proud of you for being a good listener. And because she gets really distracted. She's same ADHD mind as I had as a kid, really distracted, but she did a really good job in the store, not grabbing things. And I was like, you know what? I'm really proud of you. And like 2 minutes later, she's like, Daddy, I'm so proud of you for taking me to the store. I know it was tough.
Oh man, that's so awesome.
It's really cool. It's as you go from 1 to 2, they pick up so much more personality, and the intelligence just goes way up. And the stuff they start saying is like, this is really cool and scary at the same time. And if you're not a parent, you don't really understand how scary it is to be a parent, because they're a clean slate. They know absolutely nothing about the world but what you teach them. And that's why I tell people all the time, we're going to homeschool our daughters when they're old enough. Because I worked in the public school system, And if they're not indoctrinated, they're going to be indoctrinated with something. I would rather it come from me and be biblically based in that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but it's scary. They're clean slates. They don't know anything but what you teach them. And those, first 2 years are so important that it determines everything else. And sometimes people don't realize that. And I know some people, unfortunately, don't take it seriously, and it's sad. I got family that's like that, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure, man.
I could get behind that.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. It's so weird, man, that we even have to think about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like that. Oh, Daryl, welcome to the stream. Here's a sip for you.
Here we go, man. I'm hydrated today, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
Go ahead.
What if we should do like how they do like Movember? We should like set up like an EBN, like Corbon, like Hangar Bay, to Star Wars nerds, kind of like all like Matt Cave, like all these like pocket communities, that have kind of like met one way or another through EBN. Do like a Movember, like all the guys who want to do it, like let's just do it. You have a massive Mustaches on Mustafar.
Oh, that'd be great.
Just at the end of November, just a panel of hairy
sick.
upper lips.
You know what? I'd shave my beard for that and only have the mustache. I'd do it. I'd try it. See how creepy it is. But that's a really
let's see the dudes in the chat who want to do it.
Yeah, put a 1 if you're a dude and in the chat. I mean, I don't know if you're a woman, you can grow a mustache, I guess. I don't know. It's up to you. But if you're a dude,
maybe.
Yeah, if you're a dude, put a 1 in the chat if you want to do Movember. And let's figure out a way to donate to like a men's cancer research study or something like that. If we can donate to charity through that, I think that'd be a pretty cool opportunity. There, we got some 1s.
1 with a question mark. Oh, I feel like that's how it's gonna be. Like, I feel like when we're all staring at each other's mustaches and our mugs, we're gonna be like, "Wow, this is a thing we did." Yep.
Exactly. Speaking of mugs, subtle little self plug. Mustache mugs are available. Coffee on Corbon mustache mugs. So if you would like to buy one, I made the profit margin like 20 cents on those, so they're as cheap as I could get them for you guys. So if you want a Coffee on Corbon mug, they are available, and I can get the link real quick.
Dude, that was a smooth plug. Not even gonna lie, that was so good.
Man. All right, so if any of you feel inclined to buy a Coffee on Corbon mug, there you go. Again, I'm not really making money off of it. I know Daryl ordered his.
That's awesome. I saw Matt Cave. He had the like little video, and I saw he posted some stuff in Discord about it. It's like, that's a cool mug.
Yeah, I'm happy with how it came out, because I actually didn't even order one for myself yet, and I don't know why. But he said it turned out awesome and seems awesome. So again, if anyone wants those, they are available. When am I going to start selling coffee? I got to get into it. I don't know how to roast coffee yet. I was going to try it with an air popcorn popper, because I know you can do it that way.
Wow.
And see how it turns out. But if I get a process down, I'll definitely start selling Corbon coffee or something.
Dude, that would be cool.
Probably be a dark roast. Oh yeah, my wife says she's been trying to get me to do that. But yeah.
Isn't that how it always works, though? Isn't it always like people closest to you, like, for us, our wives are like, "Hey, you should do this," like, "Hey, we should do this," and you're like, and then it's just like someone else is like, "Hey, you should do this." You're like, "Best idea in the world. Yeah. I'm on it. Like, let's do it." It's like, thanks. I've been saying that for years.
Well, there'd be 2 Star Wars Nerds mugs. I'm really liking the idea of building my beard mustache related collection. Get some mugs up on there. You guys have a merch shop, right?
Yeah, we do. I think we have 2 shirts. I think.
Get some mugs on there. I'll buy one.
Cool. We'll make a mug.
I'd love to sip out one. I tried to buy one of X-Wing's tumblers to drink out of, but they were all sold out on his store.
He's just that popular, man.
I need a beard on bracket mug. Yes. Yeah, Matt Cave's beard is fantastic.
For sure. I wish I had
a
beard.
Yeah, Matt Cave's got some really cool content going on. So if you guys are not subscribed to Matt Cave, do that, please. Hold on.
Yeah, I think X-Wing is the one who keeps saying I have like a man crush on Matt Cave. And I'm like, I just love the man's content. Don't need to make a beard. I love his beard too. I know I'm not really helping my case here, making it seem like a man crush, but yeah, Matt Cave is awesome. He has some really cool stuff.
Yeah, I just love this community. I love everyone that is making content and joining on other people's streams. And, if I see a stream that only has 2 viewers, I'll pop in there and just have a conversation with people. And before you know it, there's 10 viewers. And, yeah, dude, I'm still coming over for food unannounced sometime. That'd be fun. So we talked about dad stuff, which we could probably go on all day about dad stuff.
I've totally become that guy that I said I never would be, where I'm like, hey, can I show you this video of my son doing this?
Yeah, and it's like something really simple, but you're super excited about it.
And I'm like, I swear it's cooler than it looks in the video. Now that I'm watching it back, I swear it's actually a lot cooler. Yeah. And like people are like, how are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm good. My son's doing this. And I'm like, I've totally become that parent. I'm okay with it. I've embraced it.
You know what? They're copies of us.
Mm-hmm.
Your clones are very impressive. You must be very proud. But we are proud. It's so cool. We created little people.
I will say with my son, it has not helped my ego very much, because people will literally say, they're like, oh man, like your son's so handsome, he's so beautiful, all this, and then they're like, he looks just like you. And I feel like like my ego puff up a little bit. I'm like, I'll take it. And so I'm like, I need to chill a little bit. I'm starting to think I'm better looking than I am.
Yeah, my daughter just got the best of both me and my wife, most of my wife, and I don't know. I'm gonna have to build up my gun collection, that's for sure. Especially in Tennessee, I don't need a permit for carry, open or concealed. It's very nice here.
Yeah, we're in Oregon, and it's like it's a very different world.
It's like North California.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, because we're right outside Portland, Oregon, and dude, it's weird. I'll just say this because I know this can go down a whole nother tangent. That's a whole mess. But there used to be a time where we'd be like, hey, we're from right outside Portland. People are like, oh wow, that's cool. Like you're hipsters or whatever. But now people are like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah, me too. But
and people around here, oh, where are you from? California. Oh, okay. Well, you're here now. Welcome to America.
Backing up.
Yeah. And I tell people California, all the time, like, I didn't take any of the California with me. Don't worry.
People hate Californians. It's crazy.
Yes, they do. And I've heard
just like people, but
I've heard stories of even some churches that will kind of shun people if they learn they're from California. Not our church. Our church is amazing. Our pastor said that he gets like 10 to 15 different families or couples every Sunday that are either from California or Oregon every week.
Wow.
It's crazy. There's a lot of people.
Almost
everyone.
Exodus.
Yeah. Almost everyone that has moved into Tennessee in the last year is from California or Oregon. And then New York would be third.
There's so many of our friends just like peacing out right now. It's crazy, but it's all good. It's all good.
All right, let's transition into some Star Wars talk, because I know that's most of the people are into that. So what is your Star Wars story in short form?
Wow, my Star Wars story short form. Okay. So My dad has been a huge Star Wars fan his whole life. My dad is older, so for context, I'm 29 and my dad is in his like late 60s. So there's a big age difference. So he saw them in theaters and all of this. So I always grew up with Star Wars just playing all the time, and he would play Empire of Dreams for me, and he all this stuff. So I always knew Star Wars, but when it became really real to me is actually the Phantom Menace, because I was 7 years old when it came out, and when I went to the theaters, and there's a whole nother story. Basically, the first time I went, I got my thumb stuck in the automatic van door, and I passed out basically. And
with your thumb still in there?
Yeah, so my thumb was in the van door, and so basically, I don't really remember much of the first time I saw Phantom Menace, but when I saw it completely in theaters, I was like, I was just so, I don't know, like amazed. It was like I was the perfect age for that to impact me and like really start to, I guess, develop. And then there's all the toys, the video games. So I got like my N64 and I had Star Wars games. And then I had I would go to like fast food places and get toys. I mean, dude, just everything. And I just became so obsessed. So that's kind of how I got into it, like really, really young. And then I kind of backed off. And then when Keely and I, the missus and I got together, she's way more into Star Wars. And so I guess getting together with her and just continuing our relationship, I've just watched it more and more. And that kind of like, out of all things, like I hear you say this on your channel all the time, like this fictional universe, that we all get excited about. I mean, just honestly, yeah, like our marriage has just helped just like pour gasoline onto that, where I'm like, Star Wars is amazing. Like it just really is. So in a nutshell, that's kind of Star Wars story.
Awesome. My Star Wars story in a nutshell is my dad had a tradition with me where I forget how old I was, 8 or 9 or something. We watched A New Hope on my birthday as a birthday present. My dad's like, here, we get to watch this cool movie. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't hear anything about it before that. And it was just a cool movie. That's all it was. And then the next year, for my next birthday, we watched Empire Strikes Back. And the next year we watched Return of the Jedi. The next year we watched, 1 and then 2. And then we were supposed to watch Revenge of the Sith on my 13th birthday. I think that was going to be my first PG-13 movie that I was allowed to watch on my 13th birthday, but I was at a sleepover like a week before and they were watching Revenge of the Sith. And so I watched it without my dad and I felt so guilty for watching it without him. And I told him a couple days later. I felt so bad. But The Phantom Menace was the only Star Wars movie we had on DVD. And I watched that so much. That was my favorite movie growing up. And I saw the politics in it. And I know a lot of people don't like the politics of the prequels, but that was my favorite part. Is like, there's a whole world here. There's the banking clan, and there's the Confederacy of Independent Systems, and then there's the clones and the Trade Federation, and there's these all these different government bodies and different organizations that are all doing things like we would in our real world, but it's in this world, and there's so much more to be explored. And I think that's why I gravitate toward the prequels more so than the original trilogy even, is because the world is so much more expansive. And there is so much more that's going on in the prequels, and especially when you start getting into the extended universe and the books and the Old Republic and the even the stuff with Heir to the Empire and Luke and everything. There's so much more to explore, and it stays grounded in reality. That's my favorite part about it. It's not super out there like Marvel or some other places, even though Marvel's supposed to be in our universe, but just it's supposed to be set in our real world just a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That was a little bit of a tangent, but anyway, Phantom Menace was my favorite movie growing up. and then Revenge of the Sith. And I didn't really have a love for Star Wars until in college. I watched a theory video, Star Wars theory, on I think General Grievous's backstory. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. There's like so much more to learn about these characters than what we see in the movies. And that kind of got me really interested in learning about the deeper details about all the stories. And then we watched Rebels, my wife and I, and we loved it. We loved Rebels. And we blasted through that. We just binged the whole, is it 4 seasons?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just watched all the way through it, and we were both just like, okay, Star Wars is really cool.
It's awesome.
And then Clone Wars Season 7 came out. We loved that. Obviously, then Mandalorian and everything else. And now I'm making YouTube videos about a fake world. Like I keep saying.
That's awesome. Dude, and that's really cool. Like just with the timing of things, like learning there's more and more and more. Because like for me, I've seen all of the movies and all of the TV shows, all of that. But I remember as a kid, like I have this very vivid memory of so my parents were divorced when I was really young. And so like maybe you'll hear me reference like my dad, my mom, because they were separated.
Right.
But I remember being in my dad's bedroom checking in about something, and he had a bunch of Star Wars books, right? And I would watch. I saw somebody, I don't remember who was. I think it was Ladage, said that they would watch it on VHS. So I remember, right? I'd play my dad's VHS tapes over and over, and I remember asking my dad, like, "Are they going to make more?" Right? And it's like, if you could know my dad, that's my dad. He basically held the books like, "Son, these are the more. This is the next trilogy." You know, in my mind, I'm a little kid. I'm like, why aren't they movies? Right? I'm like, why are there Star Wars books? It was just weird to me. But with all of that, even from a young age, before I really knew it, it's like I saw just how much there was to Star Wars, and I really love it. And hey, after this sip, I'm going to take a 30-second break because I'm going to get my cat out of this room because he is freaking howling away.
No problem. Star Wars Real Talk, welcome to the show.
All right, for all of you animal lovers, I love animals. I'm just relocating my cat. Okay.
No cats were harmed in the making of this stream. Sir, yes, I did do a force bubble around just around the mustache. It was like a rebreather almost, and that protected my facial hair as I touched down on Mustafar. Hey, there just you like is. All right, so that's our Star Wars story. What was your inspiration for starting Two Star Wars Nerds? What was your intro into that?
Yeah, so you know, the missus and I, when we talk about, or when we watch Star Wars, let me start there. We talk about it a lot. Pretty much everything we watch, we love to like analyze and start to deep dive and geek out. We both have very, very obsessive personalities. You could say, for me in particular, borderline addictive personalities, to where it's like when I'm in something, I'm in all the way. And so like Star Wars is like perfect for that because there's so much. And so anyways, we would have these, like, our videos are literally, they're a little more focused to where we're trying to think about producing things, but it's pretty much what we would talk about on our couch. Like after we'd watch something, we'd talk. And you know, we were the type of people where it's like, okay, we just watched it, let's watch it with this commentary. Now let's watch it with this commentary and this documentary, and now let's rewatch it. So that's kind of like, we always had it on repeat. So anyways, it was actually the missus, if I'm remembering correctly, I have a really bad habit of claiming these great ideas were mine, and I'll tell her like, man, this was such a great idea I had. She's like, no, this is mine. But if I'm remembering right, it was actually her idea to start the channel. And it's like, why don't we do it kind of as a way to motivate us to learn more? And I saw it as an opportunity to refine our technology skills, our technological skills rather.
Yeah.
And so that's how it started. And we had been talking about it realistically, maybe upwards of 2 years, and never did anything. And we're so afraid of doing it. And, I was like, nobody's going to watch, but I was so convinced that when people like watch our content, people are just going to hate it. And because YouTube is pretty notorious for a crazy comment section. So anyway, I saw this graphic designer on Reddit, where if any of you are in Hangar Bay and you've seen the swing meme, the person who made our logo, for lack of a better word, our illustration, it's the same guy who made that. And so anyway, I saw him on Reddit. I'm like, you know what? It's like $35. He's in Indonesia or Sri Lanka or something. Like I'll pay him to make it. And it came back sweet. And I showed Keely, and she was like, this is actually really cool. And so then I was like, okay, I made the YouTube, put up the logo, and I made a meme, an Office Star Wars crossover meme, right, in like February of this year, I think. And then anyway, Bad Batch was coming out, and we're like, okay, we can have weekly content if we just review Bad Batch. And it was like as soon as we started doing that, the bug bit us, because then we're like, let's talk about why we like the prequels, right? And it's you can still listen to it today. It's the worst audio quality in the world. We were on a walk and recording with our phone. It was just terrible. But anyway, I know it's become a little long-winded, but the bug bit us. And then we got connected with a lot of really, really amazing people. And I'm like, let's just keep doing this. And it's not just me. I mean, she's a huge driving force of this. And it's just been so much fun, man. And so honestly, I never thought more than 25 people would subscribe or ever watch. And so everything is just it's so bizarre to me,
Yeah.
It just really is.
Well, I mean, you guys are doing awesome things now. And as far as audio quality, I don't think you have anything to worry about now. You guys are both sounding fantastic recently. What mic are you using, by the way?
This is a Rode pod mic.
Pod mic, okay.
Yeah, and so we actually have like right here off camera, kind of says Keeley's. That's an Audio Technica AT2020. And a lot of this stuff is actually Keely is actually a youth worship pastor and a youth worship leader. And so a lot of the stuff we have was actually to record music and to help other people record music. And so we kind of had the edge a little bit with that. And so, yeah, it helped because we were already kind of like in that mode of figuring that out. So, yeah, man, if any more people join, I gotta pretend. So what about you? And I know I heard, I've kind of gleaned pieces from what you share, but how did all of this come into play? And I've kind of heard your story, like how things transitioned, but when it Star Wars side.
I've had my channel for a long time. I don't know. My first video was like 8 years ago or something. Just posting random stuff. Sometimes I would edit stuff. Sometimes it'd be like a funny clip from my phone. I've tried to delete the things that are kind of weird since, or at least make them unlisted. But my channel has always been, I don't know. If I think something's fun to upload, I'll upload it. You know, if I worked really hard on an edit or something, I'll upload it. And if people watch it, cool. If they like it, sweet. And that's always been how it's been. I was very hesitant on changing my channel name to Coffee on Corbon instead of just my name, because I didn't want to pigeonhole myself into just making Star Wars content. And sure. I still haven't. I'm writing my album right now, and when I do finish that, I'm going to post, the music and stuff and whatever else. So my channel isn't exclusively Star Wars, because I feel like that's too narrow. Unless I was at like 50,000 subs, then maybe I would want to focus on that, if that ever happens. But as far as starting the Star Wars part of it, I had always been talking with friends that were also fellow Star Wars fans about like, dude, let's start like a podcast. Nah, not a podcast, because like everyone does a podcast, and who would even listen? Oh, let's start a YouTube channel. We'll just do, live streaming wasn't even a thought. It was just like, well, let's call each other on the phone and like talk about Star Wars, or I'll record a part and you record a part. But no one really wanted to do it, even though we would have these really deep philosophical discussions about Star Wars. And that's kind of the focus of my channel, is the philosophical part of Star Wars and the deeper reasons as to why we enjoy this stuff. But none of those friends ever really wanted to actually make a channel or make videos. So I never did anything Star Wars on my channel, except for that one video last year called How Mara Jade Could Save Star Wars, or something like that. It's actually a really good video. I'm going to remake it because my theory on that was actually pretty cool. A good question for another time. I'll share that story later. But it was Echo Based Network, after I started getting involved with them and kind of seeing their Star Wars content and being like, you know what? I've got some stuff to say about Star Wars from an angle that not a lot of people talk about, because Theory's got his thing, Star Wars Explained, whatever other channel, Stupendous Wave that I followed, kind of had their own little thing. But I felt like one area that was lacking was the deeper philosophical, hardcore discussions. And I just, the Bad Batch was coming out, and I figured I'll do little recap videos talking about the episodes and why I liked them and stuff. And this wasn't that long ago. This was just halfway through the season of the Bad Batch. And then just kind of continuing on from there, people seemed to like the idea of me sitting at a table with coffee and just talking. And I think you mentioned this on some stream long time ago. I say long time ago, it's like 3 months ago, but I only had a couple Star Wars videos up, and you said it feels like you're sitting at a table with me, drinking coffee and talking about Star Wars. And that was kind of the intention of, join me and have a chat as sophisticated Star Wars nerds would. And that's why I rebranded to Coffee on Corbon, because it's just, drink coffee with me and we'll talk about stuff. That's kind of the aim that I want to keep with that. And don't be fooled by my subscriber count. It might look impressive to some, but the real number is like 90 people that have subscribed since I started Star Wars stuff. The rest is just accumulated subscriptions over the years. So I've said before, 574 is the number that I'm excited about, because when I hit 574, that will mean I have gained a net of 100 subs since starting my Star Wars content. So that'll be like my 100 sub celebration.
Very
when
cool,
I hit 574.
That's awesome.
Whenever that happens.
I wanted to say this before I forget, and I want to come back. I saw the missus said we're babysitting her little sister right now. Her name is Addie, and I know she's probably like, oh my gosh, she just said my name on YouTube. But Addie wants me to tell you, Timothy, that she likes your pictures. So,
these ones?
Yeah.
Thank you.
A little girl that we're babysitting likes your pictures.
Awesome. My daughter loves this one. She loves the Stormtrooper. I actually got her, she's sleeping with her right now, a stuffed Lego Stormtrooper today.
Yeah, I saw that. That's
as a
awesome.
gift. And she loved that. She's like, a Stormtrooper. And she was all like watching Little Mermaid holding his hand on the couch. It was awesome.
That's so cool.
But yeah, thank you. Was it Adeline?
Addie, yep.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm glad you like my pictures. I wish I could have a more impressive studio, but pictures is all I got right now because apartment life is not the best.
No, yeah, it looks great, man. What I was gonna say, what I've learned, so, part of our, in 574, right?
574 was the number.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I saw Nerd Portal say, "One more sub. Who will be that sub?" Yeah, that's so cool. So when I've been watching YouTube for a very long time. Pretty much since YouTube started becoming a thing before it was even like huge. I've been watching YouTube, so pretty much as long as I've actually had access to it through the internet. But nonetheless, I didn't really know about Star Wars YouTube until somewhat recently. I don't remember what it was, but there was some. I know the channel. It's like New Rock Stars, and I've they make great content, but I've kind of just like slipped away from watching them, to be honest. But when it started, they would have those like, I don't want to say it's definitely not clickbait, but it's a very particular type of content where it's like 57 things you missed in this movie, right?
Yeah.
And there's sometimes it's cool, other times it's like, okay. But so anyway, I was watching a bunch of that. I'm like, this is kind of cool. And then found out about theory and, like you mentioned, explained. And then I found like I've started finding people I like Generation Tech and Thor Skywalker. And I started finding other people like this guy Matt Wilkins in the EU. So I started finding people. And then what I found is all of this hopefully encourages you. I found out that there's so much great content out there where it's just figuring out how does YouTube pick you up and promote you,
Right.
and I guess it's not really your soul, but without losing your YouTube soul, right?
Right.
Because then what ended up happening, especially in the past few months, this whole world has opened up where I'm like, honestly, some of my favorite content creators are ones that I think are like should have multiple zeros on the ends of their sub count. And I'm like, it's in YouTube. I know there's an algorithm, there's that whole business side where you've got to figure it out, and for us it was shorts. That's what helped push stuff up. But I found there was just so many channels. Like I remember saying that thing about the table, hearing the conversation. I'm like, this is so cool because it doesn't feel like a production. Like I literally feel like I'm transported to this guy's kitchen and I'm sitting across the table from him, or I'm at a coffee shop, right? And like it was so cool. And then and I don't know if this has been the thing. Yeah, you should, man. I've heard you talk about Star Wars. Like you really should. That's awesome.
And everyone has a perspective. I'm just going to say real quick. Everyone has their perspective on Star Wars. And I can't remember who I was saying this to. Someone had said something, I think on Echo Base's stream, about should I cover the quotes at the beginning of the Clone Wars episodes? And I know you guys did that. Those the inspirational quotes. Do you still do that weekly?
We went to bi-weekly because they started off as bangers and then they started getting more and more difficult to cover. But anyway, so yes, we're doing it bi-weekly.
Yeah, so he had mentioned something about I want to talk about the quotes and inspirational and stuff at the Clone Wars. Is there anyone that you know that has done that? And I said, 2 Star Wars nerds did that, but go ahead and do it because everyone has their perspective. You could cover the exact same quote, but come at it from a different angle because you have your life experiences and how that could apply to you. You view different Star Wars, different Clone Wars episodes differently from your perspective. So Ladaj, do it, because even if you say the same topics that someone else does, it's your Star Wars content. It's your video. It's your discussion. So go for it. And if you ever get into live streams, I'll be happy to come on. I'll be happy to have you on here. I haven't seen too much of you, but I know I've seen you on, with other people, and I like how your mind works. So go for it.
Yeah, dude. And that's what's so great. Yeah, exactly. From a certain point of view. Yeah, man. Because there's I don't know. I mean, it's one, Star Wars is so massive and so popular. It's hard not to cover the same stuff. But it's like at the end of the day, if you enjoy talking about it and you're just being genuine to yourself, like, dude, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Steve says, I get that each fan is individually unique, but is it reasonable to say that too many Star Wars channels means somebody is going to get lost in the shuffle? If everyone makes a Star Wars channel, maybe there's going to be too much for everyone to watch all the time. But at the same time, who cares if you have 10 subs or 10,000 subs? If you're making this as who said it? Nerdporial, as a hobby. If you're making these for you because you enjoy it doesn't matter how many people are watching. I enjoy making Star Wars discussions because it's fun for me. This is a hobby and a time-consuming hobby. But I make this because I'm enjoying it. Now, subtly trying to grow subscribers and views and watch hours and eventually hope to get monetized. But it's a hobby and it's fun. So it doesn't matter if there's like market saturation or whatever you want to call it. Do it.
Yeah. And that's a thought I have as well. So I think the undercurrent of the question would be, it's like, why do you want to start a channel? Because if you want to start a channel to be, the biggest Star Wars YouTuber, if you want to be like Theory, or if you want to be a percentage of him, and if you're like, I just want to do this full time, the sad reality is, I would say like 95% of people probably never going to do it, because it's like you've got to like he has videos where he says, this is how I did it. It's crazy how hard he worked. But then it's like, if like what you talked about, you're like, hey, this is missing. I already think like this. How cool would it be to share like this? That's the kind of stuff where I think it may have been John Black Dragon who said it. Who's like, you'd be surprised who will listen to you. Like you'll find your tribe, your people, right? And for us, what's been cool is there's a lot of random people, but the people I'm so glad I connected with those people. Like, Discord is a great tool where I've like been able to build relationships with people, and I'm like, wow, this became a lot bigger than Star Wars. Like, this isn't just like, here's a cool breakdown. Like, I've made a lot of friends, and that's been cool for me, because it's like, hey, at the end of the day, I know if today I deleted the channel, I just stopped making content, I know that there's people I've made friendships with that I could continue those. And for me, that's super cool. And it's like, would I love to make some money because advertisers want to shell out money to people who do this? I'm not gonna lie, yeah, for sure. But it's like, for us, that's never how it started.
Legends.
Yeah. This video sponsored by,
brought to you by Skillshare.
Yeah. And it's like, that was never why we started it. And so if that's like the cherry on top, cool. But there's some incredible people, and I figured, hey, I'm already on YouTube all the time. Why not throw my 2 cents out there and see, man?
Yeah. And there's a sense of pride that comes with making a video that you are proud of. When a video comes together the way that you envisioned it. One of my more recent videos of why we enjoy this so much. Why do we invest so much in Star Wars? I was so happy with how that video turned out, because it was everything that I had been thinking in my head that I was able to get out into a video form, and other people were able to understand what I was thinking. And that is so cool to me as a Star Wars fan. It's like, this is my perspective on this. And being able to put it out in a format that other people are like, you know what? I agree with that. Or even like, I don't agree with that, but I know what you're saying. And the dissent is awesome too. When I have, I love the prequels more than the originals. That's a very controversial opinion. And a lot of people don't like that. I think I was on X-Wing's first Friday Night Fights, and I said that if the prequels didn't exist, I wouldn't be a Star Wars fan. Like if it was just the original trilogy, I don't think I would care for it all that much. That's pretty controversial for some people, but I welcome that disagreement in the discussion because that's my perspective. Again, it's from a certain point of view.
Yeah. And you know what I found is whatever, I guess, opinion people have, it's like just own it. You know, like for me, it's funny you say it's controversial, it doesn't change anything, but I'm like, yeah, that is controversial. Mm-hmm. You know, because like for me, I love the prequels, I really do, but for me, Empire, A New Hope, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, for me, that's like my top, like OT. And granted, prequels are amazing to me, but it's like what I love is being able to have discourse and to talk about things and stuff. What I've learned to laugh at are the trolls, or just the people who just, I don't know, things just attract. Like for us, and you know, we've talked about this in on Discord and stuff. For us, you know, shorts were something that really helped us, and it was something that we try to make true to our long form content in 60 seconds, which is very, very hard to do, I found. Where the other times it's like a chill stream, just kind of hit record and talk, where it's like it has to be super planned out with the shorts.
Right.
But I mean, like the shorts is I found that there's people who will disagree, and at first, like, you know, I'm like, like I'm getting mad and like I want to smack these people around. How dare you say this, you know? But then I have to be like, no, let's actually talk. And I found a lot of people, because it's text in a comment, when you actually start talking to them and you engage in discourse, it becomes really, really cool. But then there's other people where I'm like, I'm just going to ignore that comment. It helps me, shows that there's interaction, but I'm like, there's YouTube comments for you.
Yeah, and again, if you're making it to get the approval of other people, that's going to be more of an issue for you than if you were just making content to make content, and whoever likes it, cool. Because I could say some really controversial things, and if people really harp on me for that, okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't. For example, another thing I brought up on that Friday Night Fight stream was I don't like the character of Yoda in the original trilogy. It just doesn't click with me. And I get that he's goofy and he's messing with Luke and stuff, but just it's something about his character just doesn't click with me. And that's a very controversial opinion. For some people, that's sacrilegious. So
you know what I'm thinking? I'm like, you should take those and make those into videos. Like for me, I'm just saying, like, if I didn't know you and your channel, and I saw a video that said like why Yoda in the OT is a bad character, or whatever, right? However you'd want to spin it.
Right.
I would be one of the ones where I'm like, how dare you, sir? And I'd be like, I want to watch this because that's such. And I know you, because then what I would find out is it's not like a troll. You're not trying to like fire people up. Be like, this is like a dude who's thoroughly thought through this, and he's presenting his side of things, and it makes room for that coffee table discussion.
Yeah.
So I think that would be really cool content.
It's a very fine line between having a title that creates a controversy right off the bat and having that be called clickbait. Because I'm sure, like, original trilogy Yoda is a terrible character, like kind of clickbaity, because I don't think that's true for everyone. But I'd probably get some hate for that, for sure.
Absolutely would. That's so, and dude, it's crazy. People they'll get fired up about all sorts of stuff. I don't even go there.
Yeah, and this is probably the best way to look at it. If other people have those opinions, is like, all right. And I've said before, I'm a firm believer in head canon is the best canon. What is Star Wars to you? At this point, we have so many things between the EU, which some people consider to be true canon still in their heads. We've got Rogue One, which some people don't like. We've got Solo, which some people like myself don't count. We got the sequels. Let's stay away from that. But everyone's got their own headcanon. I think there's enough Star Wars content out there that everyone can kind of make their mind up about what they like and what they enjoy and what they gravitate back to. For me, that's mostly the prequels. But my mind was blown when I read the Bane trilogy, because it was a whole era that I wasn't too familiar with. And it just, I don't know if you've ever read the Bane trilogy.
I have. I won't go on this tangent, but I have read about it and I own it, but I have not read it for myself. So I've read.
It's worth it, and I'm pretty sure the Bane trilogy audiobooks are on YouTube for free.
Okay.
So I highly, I mean, ask Felix Quiros. I recommended the Bane trilogy to him, and he was just blown away by it, just like myself. Because you know Bane and the Rule of Two, and you've heard all the stuff about it, but actually seeing the story and how it unfolded, and the reasoning for the Rule of Two, and his situation and stuff, really it puts the Sith belief system as a whole in a different light. You understand why a Lord of the Sith thinks that way, what their version of evil and power is, in a way that you don't really get anywhere else, as far as I've read in the books. It's a really nice perspective on that. Bane trilogy, I highly recommend that, and Master and Apprentice if you haven't read that.
Yeah, so it kind of actually segues really nicely into kind of part of everything behind our channel. Like I mentioned kind of near the top of this, a lot of it was about figuring out more or learning more about Star Wars, and kind of documenting that journey, because when we started, we were like, should we even, and people have picked this apart. People would be like, you're not a Star Wars nerd. It's like total gatekeeping, because the whole point was like, we don't know everything, but we're nerds in the fact that we want to know everything.
Right.
And so we're just documenting that journey. So for me personally, with the EU, I've watched a ton of content from one guy in particular, Matt Wilkins. Honestly, probably my favorite Star Wars YouTuber, because he went through every single piece of literature in the EU in chronological order and reviewed it and like went through it, and it's like, dude, it is amazing. And then I started reading general descriptions of what's happening, trying to figure stuff out. And I've been doing that for some time, because I'd be like, what? I heard about this, and look into it. And so I've just started myself purchasing and reading the books, and actually have some audiobooks to listen to. So that's what I've been enjoying, because there's so much fine detail in that. And I'm actually very much in the camp of, you're talking about headcanon. This is kind of my headcanon. Obviously 1 through 6, Clone Wars, Rebels. I do have Rogue One and Solo in there. All of the EU and Mando. I don't think I'm missing anything. No, I don't think I am.
Yeah, I don't think that's it. Other than just comics and stuff.
Yeah, and for me, I don't want to become that guy, and this is where I have to resist a lot. But pretty much like pre-Disney, for me is Star Wars.
Yeah.
And there is some Disney stuff that I like, but I found it's way too easy to just be overly cynical. Just speaking for myself, for me to be overly cynical about how much I don't like the new stuff, and instead I'm like, instead of letting it die to me, I'm going to go back to the 44 years of incredible stuff that's out there.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to start eating it up. Like, I mean, I could potentially never get through that for the rest of my life.
Yep.
Everything out there. And so that's kind of the journey I'm on, because otherwise I'm just gonna become one of those like guys who's just like angry about everything Star Wars.
Yeah, and this Dat Boy Steve brings up something when he says a true Star Wars fan, and what people say is a true Star Wars fan. I don't think there is a such thing as a Star Wars fan. It's just how much you care for it, and I found that the more people care for Star Wars, especially the original trilogy, the less likely they are to enjoy the sequels. That doesn't mean they can't. So I don't think there is a such thing as a true Star Wars fan. I think it's just how much do you enjoy Star Wars and how much do you desire to learn more about that universe. Mm-hmm. So I don't think what you like or dislike has any bearing on how much of a fan you are. And I think that's disingenuous for people to say. It's, you know, like, oh, you liked The Force Awakens? How dare you? Mm-hmm. You disrespect the name of George Lucas. Like,
yeah. And you know, that's what's so it's in every fandom, you know, to some degree. And I've just noticed in Star Wars, like for me, I mean, I wish I could like certain things, but I just can't, you know. And it's like for me, when I hear people, and you know, in particular, obviously we talked about this, that we wouldn't like really spend time on this, but there are people where I hear them talk about how much they like 7, 8, and 9, and I'm like, dude, props to you, good for you, and you got it. 574. That's so awesome, man.
See, that feels good.
Yeah, dude, this should feel good. That's amazing. That's great.
And you know, I have picked up more subscribers than just 100 since starting my channel, but that's a net 100 subs. I've probably gotten about 150 people that have subscribed for the Star Wars content. Actually, just the last 3 or 4 days, I lost 9 subs. Like I was at like 572, and then it kicked me back like 9 over 2 days. And I was just like, what did I do? I didn't post anything. But again, I've gotten so many subscribers over the years that, you know, people that subscribe from disc golf or parkour or acrobatics, whatever stuff I used to post about, are like, well, Star Wars. Yeah, I don't want that. So I don't know, but it does feel nice. So dude, thank you everyone that subscribed tonight for the first time.
Awesome.
Welcome to the channel. I hope you stick around, and I hope to see you in future videos as well. I appreciate it. That's a really nice feeling. And 574, it's a strange number, but thank you, sir. I don't know. So now I get to have my 574 stream where I give away one of my mustache mugs.
That's awesome.
Everyone that subscribed, be sure to keep an eye out for that stream and win yourself a Coffee on Corbon mustache mug.
There you go, man.
So
that's really cool.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, congratulations. Congratulations, man. That is so great. I got I got a message. I don't know if she just likes hearing her name, but Addie said she likes your shirt too.
Oh, thank you.
She's just like, she just thinks you're like,
my favorite people call me Dad.
Nice. Yeah, she's just like, she thinks you're like the coolest person. That's awesome.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, man, I have like 5 more minutes here just because we are babysitting and have like a little guy on the West Coast. Anything burning do you want to dig into? 575.
So my 500th subscriber was actually my 575th subscriber. I don't know. I think we got a good baseline, because I never streamed with you specifically before. I might have been on a stream or two with you at some point before. But it was a really nice discussion that we had. I enjoyed you coming on, and you're always welcome on my show, whether it's on Mustafar or Corbon.
Awesome. Thanks, man. And we have some other stuff coming up, and that's funny. for sure. Like that's I do really appreciate that. You know, it does mean a lot. And I'm excited for. I mean, I think all of us here, all of us gentlemen. I don't know if there were any ladies who wanted to join, whatever. But all of us gentlemen who said, let's do the Movember mustaches on Mustafar. I'm going to hold you all to it. Timothy will too.
I saw some ones in there.
Yeah, I saw a good amount. You guys will feel the pain of growing a mustache in the first month in particular, but it's going to be for a great cause. And so I think this is a really cool opportunity. Like I love your, I mean, I do. I feel like it's a little weird because I'm like, I feel like I'm sitting at a table with you chatting it up. And then we have a bunch of people watching us like at other tables.
Yeah.
And
streaming is weird.
It is, but it's cool, man.
Yeah. Well, Jedi Scum says we should do this more often. I'm down. This is fun. I feel like we have some really good discussions because we come at Star Wars from different angles. You come out at it from that. I want to learn more, and how can we view this in a positive light? And I come at it from what's the core reason as to why we appreciate this. And I think those are really cool perspectives to have. So I'm sure we probably most likely will do another Mustaches on Mustafar stream. We'll talk scheduling and stuff because, you know, weekly is something I can't commit to.
Yeah.
As a dad with a relatively newborn.
Yeah, and that's us too. And you know, obviously for a bunch of Hangar Bay people here, I know X-Wing said something just not able to make it just happen right now for that kind of commitment. And you know, we want to stream a lot more, and we're trying to figure out. Yeah, I know my wife is as a girl. You birthed our child. I know. I was saying, I don't know if any ladies want to grow a mustache. You know. Anyway, but. Yeah, we want to stream more, but then we're in that boat too. It's like when we're free is when our son goes to bed, and he's been staying up late. And so it's like, I don't want to like stay up. I'll sacrifice the wait, pull that back up.
Yeah,
that's
heresy.
Yes. Oh man.
Don't.
Matt Cave, do this. Just trim the beard, but leave the stash. So then you can get that nice like beard thick stash. Please.
Yep.
I mean, it's your facial hair, but I mean, I think the people have spoken. They love the beard.
Yeah, and if anyone's going to grow out their mustache and they want a recommendation on mustache wax, Firehouse Wacky Tacky mustache wax is what I use. Stuff is fantastic. I can go to sleep right now and wake up looking basically exactly like this.
Crazy.
It is pretty crazy.
I know exactly what I can close with here. I was inspired by your. I didn't make a video. I was thinking about it. I was inspired by your video. I think you cross posted to Echo Base TV in your own channel with the stuff starts to blur in my mind. But the one where you're like, oh, my wife watches these videos, women doing their makeup and talking. So I'm like, I'll do my mustache and talk. And so I was thinking, I'm like, I should make a counter video to show just how low effort my mustache maintenance is. Because I was watching this with Keely, the missus, and I'm like, this is insane. Like, because I told you I was creepy with the curls. You know, you rock it, man. You really do. I can't.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And so I was going to make a video. Literally, my video is like I comb it, and then I'm like, yep, looks good. Do a little trim, and then I'm good. It's like a 30-second process. It's so funny.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, your commitment, that's something else.
See, I'm so glad. And I use that heated comb to get it in the shape. So it's like a perm. If I just used wax, it wouldn't hold the shape at all. It wouldn't work out with just wax. But because it does hold really well, and I wake up, I can just, maybe touch it up with just a little bit more wax, and I'm good to go in the mornings, which is good because waking up early for work and stuff and having to do a mustache and you're like, I just need coffee. Like that would be a nightmare, but doing it from scratch, like after a shower, only takes about 5 minutes. So it's not awesome. Too bad. As for the Movember thing, I think that's a really good idea. I can do some research on some, I don't know, like testicular cancer charities or something like that, something we can do to benefit men, or maybe like PTSD soldiers or something like that. And
Absolutely.
I'll do some research on like a good reputable charity that we can donate to, because I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
You know, everyone wants to have like a charity stream and raise thousands and tens of thousands of dollars and stuff, but smaller channels like me and you and Matt Cave and whoever else has a beard and stuff, it's, you know, we got to do it some way. Even if we only donate $100, that's it.
Yeah. And I mean, like you said, even if it's with for a cancer research institute, that could be somebody's copay or 2 copays for somebody, you know, or if it's PTSD, that could be a therapy session, you know. And so it's like, yeah. And I think, you know, a lot more people, especially with, you know, something's cooking here, you know, with a lot of hype built around it. And, you know, I think it'd be great. Dude, that was like magical. Just seeing the hand come and drop
Thank
the
you,
mug.
sweetie.
That was great. But yeah, man, it's been really great here. It's an honor that you invite me. Like, yeah,
absolutely.
It's cool. So, man, I've had a good time.
Yeah. Again, you're always welcome on my streams, and we will be doing another Mustaches on Mustafar. We'll talk schedules and stuff.
Cool.
Because, you know, being dads and working dads and stuff, it's, you know, not like we could do this every single night. It'd be fun, but
yeah, I've said if I could at this point, and I mean, granted, it's not always like this, but I'm like, if I could, I would just be a stay-at-home dad who makes Star Wars videos. Like, that would be cool. But, you know, but I really appreciate it, man. This has been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and everyone stopping by tonight, I appreciate you guys being here. We got 20 viewers right now. That's good for me. I'm happy with that. I appreciate all of you guys for stopping by, and if you've been here the entire time, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch 2 men that have furry lips in common.
Yeah.
And Star Wars, of course.
I got to say one more Addie thing for you.
Okay.
I got another one. So she loves YouTube. Like, dude, I've never met someone who loves YouTube as much as her. And she said, I got a quote, 0 thumbs down. People like this. I like this. She subbed, liked the video, and put on notifications.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's legit. You won't regret it, Addie. This is a great channel.
I hope not.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah. Well, it's the little slow increments of getting better and higher quality and stuff. I got to redo my lighting because compared to your studio, mine's kind of looking, but, you know, subtle improvements, and we're all going to get to that place, and it's fun. It's a whole lot of fun. Again, everyone stopping by tonight, thank you very much for coming by. We will see you on the next Mustaches on Mustafar. Make sure you're subscribed to both of our channels, and keep an eye out for the next stream and for the Movember charity raising, whatever we're going to do. We'll probably have an announcement video for that. But thank you, everyone, and we will see you wherever we happen to see you.